Mask of Bakris is a great exotic helmet for hunters, and it enhances any stasis build. Today, I'm going to check out a grenade-focused build supported by Mask of Bakris. It's going to have you freezing, slowing, and shattering enemies, throwing near infinite grenades, and sneaking around the battlefield while invisible. So I'm going to run through the stasis setup, plus the weapons and the mods, so you can freeze anything that gets in your way. Well, if you're new around here or found this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Without further delay, let's dive right into this build. So first of all, I've got the stasis setup. So for my super, I'm using Silence and Squall. Class ability is Gambler's Dodge, melee is Withering Blade, and my grenade, I'm using a Dustfield grenade. For the aspects, I'm using Touch of Winter, so your Glacier, Dustfield and Cold Snap grenades have enhanced functionality. So here I'm using Dustfield grenades, so it says increasing the slow field size and creates a small stasis crystal on impact. Then I'm using Grim Harvest, so defeating a slowed or frozen combatant creates a stasis shard, and these shards grant melee energy when they're picked up by you or your allies. For the fragments, I'm using Whisperer Chains, so while you're near frozen targets or a friendly stasis crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. Whisperer Shards, so shattering a crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate, and shattering additional stasis crystals increases the duration of the benefit. Then Whisper over a fraction, so defeating a slowed target or a frozen target grants you class ability energy. Well then, next up, let's have a look at the exotic armor. This is Mask of Bakris. So Mask of Bakris is an exotic hunter helmet with the perk Light Shift. So with Light Shift, it replaces your stasis subclass dodge ability with a longer range, faster moving shift that partially cloaks you during use. And after shifting, your arc weapons deal increased damage to combatants for a short time, and you deal increased damage to all slowed and frozen combatants. We can get this one from Lost Sectors when completing on Legend or Master solo, when the exotic helmet is the reward. Next up, let's have a look at the weapons. So in the kinetic slot, I'm using Rat King. This one is an exotic kinetic sidearm, comes with some excellent perks. So Rat Pack, fully automatic weapon, becomes stronger when nearby allies also have it equipped. Stacks up to 6 times. Then you've got Vermin, so reloading immediately after a kill grants a brief period of invisibility. You can get this one from the Monument to Lost Light exotic kiosk in the tower. In the energy slot, I'm using Tarnished Metal. This one is a legendary energy scout rifle with a lightweight frame, meaning it's got superb handling and you move faster with the weapon equipped. Comes with the origin trait Right Hook, where dealing melee damage gives the weapon increased target acquisition and range for a short period of time, and dealing melee damage again extends that effect. Finally, in the power slot, I'm using Chain of Command. It's a really useful machine gun, this one, that comes with a selection of perks. So we've got Adrenaline Junkie, Demolitionist, Osmosis, and Adaptive Munitions. I'm going for Adrenaline Junkie and Demolitionist here, given the grenade focus of the build. Demolitionist in particular is really good because kills with a weapon generate grenade energy. Well, this one is a stasis weapon, that's why it works really well with the build. Well, if you haven't got Chain of Command, you can just replace it out for another stasis or an arc machine gun. Both going to work really well with this build. Looking at the mods then, I'm using Elemental Charge, so become charged with light by picking up an Elemental Well. If the Elemental Well's element type matches your subclass element, you gain 2 stacks of charge with light. Now I'm using Firepower times 3, so while charged with light, regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade, consuming 1 stack of charge with light. Also using Elemental Shards, so stasis shards count as stasis Elemental Wells for you. I'm using an anti-barrier scout rifle, an overload machine gun mod, and also bumping my resilience up to 100 for that 40% damage reduction. Well, next up, let's have a look at the gameplay for this build. So this build is all about taking advantage of stasis capabilities of the Hunter. Mask of Bakris grants 10% increased damage to slowed and frozen targets, as well as granting 10% increased damage output to arc weapons. Also taking advantage of enhanced Dustfield grenades with the build, plus going invisible through Mask of Bakris and also Rat King as well. First of all, the grenades. So this is all about Dustfield grenades and Touch of Winter, as that enhances them through an increased slow field and creates a small stasis crystal on impact. I'm using Grim Harvest here to slow and freeze enemies. That's going to help create stasis shards. Then through elemental shards, they count as elemental wells. So picking up an elemental well through elemental charge gives us 2 stacks of charge with light, And then you've got the firepower mods. They're going to refund grenade energy whenever you use your grenade, meaning you're basically going to get your grenade back when you throw a grenade, and that means more grenades more of the time. So this combination was recommended by Andrew Miller in the comments, so shout out to you, Andrew. Thank you very much for that. And that was on a previous Hunter Stasis build, so really appreciate you watching and sending in your feedback. Well, next I'm taking advantage of going invisible, so this is happening through Mask of Bakris and Light Shift. So our dodge is turned into a shift, and you are partially cloaked. So this is good, but the main invisible capabilities comes from Rat King, which basically is my current favourite weapon to use with a Hunter. So Vermin allows a short period of invisibility when reloading after a kill with Rat King. This is going to really help you get out of a tight spot. Regarding the weapons for the build, I'm using Tarnished Metal, given it's an art weapon, and Mask of Bakris gives us a 10% boost to art weapon damage after shifting. Chain of Command is really good because it's got Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie. You know, really decent combination. Again, boosting our grenade recharge rate. These weapons are tailored for champions, and here I'm using Anti-Barrier Scout and Overload machine guns. You know, feel free to swap in and out the weapons that you like. I would try and pair up at least one Stasis weapon with an art weapon. You know, what they are depends on the champion mods of the season that you watch this guide, but feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Finally, I'm using all the benefits of Stasis here, including Whisper of Chains, so while you're near frozen targets or a friendly Stasis crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. Going to help us in endgame PvE modes like Nightfalls, Raids, Dungeons, and Legend and Master Lost Sectors. Then you got Whisper of Shards, works really well with Dustfield grenades, given the Stasis crystal in the middle. So shattering a Stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. So then together with firepower, it means really fast grenade recharging. And finally you got Whisper of Refraction, so defeating a slowed or frozen target grants you class ability energy. And given we're going to be slowing and freezing enemies with grenades, our Stasis weapons and abilities, that is going to allow us to use our class ability more. Well, let me know in the comments what you think of the build, and let me know if you've got any improvements. Well, that is it for this guide for the Hunter Stasis PVE build with Mask of Bakris in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon. You